Check 1, check 2. Bear with me a minute while I copy and paste the URL onto the Maiden Murray page. First, I go to my Facebook page. I right-click on the video. I copy the URL. I go to the Maiden Murray page. And I post the URL. That's it done. I could put it out on more pages. I could tag people in the post. I could send messages out through Messenger. I could let people know it's happening. Always to contact people, always to communicate, always to get the message out. To get the message out that something is happening, that something is going on. I know what happens in the evening. People get tired. They go for the easy option. Unless you're into the sports thing, unless you drop down to the gym or you've got some kind of competitive thing going on a Sunday evening, which is kind of cool because it's kind of nice to clear your head before Monday morning. It's nice to find something that gives you an opportunity to relax, and the sport is one of those things. So if people are not doing sport, they're probably trying to chill out, maybe squeeze the last bit out of their weekend. How do you squeeze the last bit out of your weekend? What do you do? Most people just vegetate. They turn on their giant flat screen TV, which will soon be so thin it'll be like wallpaper. You'll be able to roll it up and take it with you wherever you go. It won't have buttons. You'll talk to it. Like you'll talk to all the technology in the future because it'll all be listening. You know how it works. It'll be lights on and the lights come on. It'll be change the color and the color changes. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how much the technology serves us and how much we serve the technology. What do you think? Are you in control of the technology? Or does the technology control you? I'm 50-50. I don't mind people collecting my data if they can use it in a good way, because otherwise it just goes to waste, right? I don't mind if people can collect information about me to feed me more things that are going to help me in my life. I don't mind getting little advertisements. I don't mind, people knowing what I've bought so they can try to sell me a little bit more of that. I don't mind those little things. Hey, there's a kid coming in. Who's behind the door over there? Who's behind the door? Oh, hello. You coming over? Why, thank you very much, darling. Thank you very much. What is it? Oh, it's like a golden heart, right? Oh, it's not a heart, it's a house. I had it upside down. Oh, wow. And inside the house there's a window, and in the window there's a picture of you. That's you. Oh, wow. There's a very happy smiling face, you. And there's something above the window. What does that mean above the window there? Oh, that's a labyrinth. There's like a puzzle. Yeah. And then there's like an F and an S around it as well. Mm-hmm. Oh, like it's a puzzle you have to get from the start to the finish. Oh, that's so cool. Can I do it a little bit later? Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. I will put it next to the heart that you brought me earlier. That is so sweet. You're an angel. Thank you. You you want a hug, don't you? I kind of got these headphones on here, so it's kind of a bit difficult. But you can come in here. Oh, like there's nothing more important than kids, so I'm going to take the headphones off and just give Zora a hug. If I can take them off. Un momento. Thank you very much, Simon. That is so sweet. I'm going to put it down here where I can see it. Okay. Cool. Super cool. Is it okay if I do my little chit chat? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the little present. Hey, if you got kids, then you know what I'm talking about, right? Because kids are the source of everything. Your life is your own until you have kids, and then when you have kids, it's not yours anymore at all. Yeah, it's not yours. So, if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. Like life changes in a myriad of ways. I had a music company for 8 years, and we did production, promotion, concerts, tours, um, getting people into the studio, getting the photo shoots done, getting the imaging right, helping people sell themselves. And why am I talking about that? There was something important about that. Kids. Oh yeah. I had to make a choice when my son was born. I had to make a choice: spend time doing the music, or spend time with my son. And my son won because it was one of those choices that's not really a choice. It's just you're you're called. You're called up to the plate. You step up to the plate. You have to make the choice that's the obvious choice. It also helps because it takes you to another level, because you end up being one of those people who is not 40 still pretending that they're 20, right? Which is kind of a problem. I talked with Melissa in one of our previous little chit chat conversations about the man still being the boy. We surround ourselves with the toys, right? Very often very often I'm not sure that we ever completely grow up, and maybe it's good that we don't completely grow up. Maybe it's good that we still tune into that child that's deep within us, that playful nature, that lack of prejudice, that resilience, that determination, that boundless love, as was just expressed by Zora. Wow. Wow. Nothing compares to that. Work doesn't compare to that. Work doesn't compare to family at all. That's when family is real. If you throw yourself so much into your work that you don't have time for family, then you need to work on your family more. Crazy, huh? It's crazy. I wanted to talk about work and money, because that's something that I've kind of noticed is weird. As long as you're getting paid for something, as long as you're getting paid for something, people tend to think that everything's okay. What does that mean? Well, if it's a job, then everyone tends to revert to the default position of, well, it's a job, it's my job. It's just my job. It's what I'm doing. But I think the test comes in whether or not you would do it if you weren't paid. Now, the reason why we get paid to do jobs is because people wouldn't do them for free in general, and there's a lot of rough stuff out there. Digging down a mine, hanging off a space station, fishing on a fishing boat, cleaning the school corridors, locking up the premises, walking round the premises in the middle of the night, sitting in a truck as a long-distance lorry driver. There's a lot of rough jobs, and you need to be tough to do them. That's for sure in life. So great respect to those people. But the point I want to make is about the idea that if you get paid for it, it's okay. Now, this is Made in Moray Live, so you can join in with the conversation. You can join in and post a question. You can join in and leave a question. I'll get back to it later on if you're catching this later. Another thing that I want to discuss is what to do with the video after the video has been recorded and it goes out. I'm going to mirror it to YouTube, and I might take the audio and throw the audio up on the podcast and see what happens with that. But doing a live video is a great way to create content if you've got a business. Because the thing about live is you're just forced to be, right? You're forced to be you, where you are, with what's happening. There's a certain energy in live that doesn't exist anywhere else. You think about it with sports events, right? When the sports event's live, the heart rate's higher, for sure. So, something to think about. So yeah, if you've got a business, you create a little live video. You can download it from Facebook. You can upload it to YouTube. You can share it with your friends. You can cut it up. You can extract the audio. You can podcast out of it. There's so much you could do. And how much of, all you have to do is record what's happening. Think of it less as creating and more as documenting the event. Try to document what's going on. Helps you keep track, helps you keep up to speed, helps you see what you've done. If people are busy in work, they're doing so much stuff that they can't even remember what they did. Look, ask yourself, what did I do last Tuesday? I bet you can't remember, unless it was a birthday or special event or whatever. Work becomes habit, and habit becomes killer if you don't work on keeping yourself moving forward, changing things up. Nothing worse than walking into a workplace and seeing the same furniture that's been there for 10, 15, 20 years. Spice up your life, people. Really make an effort. So work and money. So what I want to talk about with work and money, leave your questions. So what I want to talk about with work and money is this idea that as long as you're getting paid, it's okay. And I can't really choose a normal example of this, so I'm going to choose an extreme example. So the extreme example would be something like prostitution or porn or something like that. I'm sorry if that topic is vulgar to you. I'll get onto something else in a second. But it's like if somebody did like the prostitution for free, it would be vile and terrible to a certain extent. Yeah. But because they get paid for it, people seem to think it's okay. Right? If somebody ran up and down through the center of town, completely naked for free, people would be like, "Oh, that's really, really weird." But if somebody ran up and down through the center of town, naked, and was paid for it, and people were like, "Why do you do that?" And the person said, "I was paid for it," and people would be like, "Oh, okay." It's bizarre that the transaction of money seems to bring with it a sense that everything is okay. Well, it doesn't mean that everything is okay. Especially if it causes you to chase your tail. Especially if it's not constructive and productive. There's more people who have problems up here in their noggin than in their pocket. That's for sure. You walk into any room of business people, any room of any people. So much going on in people's heads. So much that they can't communicate. Communication was part of a previous conversation, so I'm not going to go over that again. But people really, really, really need to think about their job and the thoughts that are in their head on a daily basis. You got to keep it clean in the head. That anything in the environment that's messy or dirty is a sign that there's a mess in the head. Now I'm not against creativity, and creativity creates a giant sort of mess anyway. But that's kind of the explosion of experimentation. I'm talking about observing the environment to understand. Like if you get in someone's car and there's sweetie papers and wrappers everywhere, and it smells of cigarettes, and the dashboard's dirty, and there's half a sandwich in the glove compartment, and I don't know, broken biscuits on the seats or whatever. Can biscuits be broken? Crumbs of biscuits, I suppose. But you know how that's just kind of tells you that it's like, oh, okay, this person is either so extremely busy they don't have 2 seconds, which means they need to work on their time management, or they just don't care. Either way, there's work to be done. There is a hell of a lot of work to be done. We've all got to do a lot of work on ourselves. And one of the problems that we have when we need to do work on ourselves is understanding that the problem itself. Now, this is a quote from a Pirates of the Caribbean film. It obviously didn't originate there, because great things are picked up and used and reused, repurposed in different ways. It's all okay. Where that character played by the actor, what's his name? Johnny Depp, that's his name. That Captain Jack Sparrow with the London accent, right? Down south. Well, he says that the problem is not the problem. The problem is you're thinking about the problem. And he's right. He's right. The problem is not the problem. The problem is you're thinking about the problem. That's the FKN problem. You know it. You know the shit in your head that you need to tell people around about you that you haven't told them yet. You know it. I know it because everyone's got it. And if you don't have it, you still have to ask yourself why you don't have it, right? But the problem is part of the person. The problem is part of the personality. And the reason why we can't get where we need to go, the reason why we can't progress, the reason why the business doesn't grow, the reason why life is life, the reason why we're not further down the road is that we love our problems too much to embrace all of the future possibilities. We love our problems too much. Do you understand? It's part of us. Now we can still change. We can still grow. That's how we change. We change by growing. Essentially, we don't will ourselves to grow. We put ourselves in a nurturing environment. And in a nurturing environment, we learn. We have to understand that there's things we need to let go of so that we can pick up a new future. We have to put down certain elements of the past. And the only person who can do that is you. You pilot the ships of your life, the relationships, the partnerships, the companionships, the friendships. You're in charge. You're the master. Only you. No one's going to come and give you everything on a plate. No one's coming to do that. Unless they're the devil. Well, or the person on the other side, you could say. Everyone's waiting for other people to make decisions for them. Big mistake. Big mistake. You know when people say patience is a virtue, it doesn't mean do nothing. Do you realize that? So, I guess the message is to ask yourself what you need to let go of in order to grow. Ask yourself what you need to put down. We are all capable of more. Thank you for mashing the hearts button there. Much appreciated. We are all capable of more. There's always space to grow. Look at as human beings, bigger, faster, fitter, stronger. It's not absolutely necessary to be like that. You know? Be yourself is all that you can do, right? But we can always be a little bit better. We can always be a little bit more focused. We can always try a little bit harder to listen. Nothing wrong with that. You see people out there who have given up, right? There's people out there who have given up. You see them walking up and down the streets every day. They're, the sprightly skip of their teenage years has turned into a trudge, like a soldier through the trenches of World War One. You can see it. You can see that they've stopped paying attention. You can see that they don't care about anything anymore. That they're out there. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let that happen to you. Avoid those people. Avoid those people. Surround yourself with the right people. What is it they say? Your life becomes an average of the 5 people you spend most time with. A hell of a lot of truth in that. A hell of a lot of truth in that. Because you don't have time for everybody. So you have to be selective. Select so that you can reject. You understand that? Select so that you can reject. Less is more. It doesn't just apply to focus and objects. It's not just about focus and objects. It's about time. And we're going to get into time in the future. We're going to talk about time a lot. We're going to talk about the value of time. We're going to talk about wasted time. Is it all just wasted time? when you sit and you think about what you've left behind. Time spent with ones you love is never wasted. That's truth. That's truth for sure. So much to learn. So much to learn. Don't live just to live. Observe. Study. Don't watch the game just to watch the game. Watch the game to observe and learn. Understand the nuances. Respect the differences. Respect the differences. So, just as a final note, I watched the World Rugby Cup final today. It was played yesterday, but I was busy yesterday and it didn't seem very important. It's probably not very important. But I watched it today because when I'm on the exercise bike, I like to watch some sport because it keeps me motivated. I'm like, if they can keep going, I can keep going. So I like watching 15 giant motherfuckers and 15 giant motherfuckers clash like two trains head on. It kept me motivated for a while. Seeing people with blood running down their faces, and it was you got to respect people in the arena. Respect the people in the arena. Respect the man or woman in the arena. Respect the people doing something. Hell of a lot of people want to be in the armchair, want to be an armchair critic. Screw you. Screw you. You just opinions. Everyone's got an opinion. Doesn't make it worthwhile. Just because you have an opinion doesn't. I respect your opinion. It's yours. I respect it. And then I move on. I say, thank you very much. And I keep going. Because perhaps that road is not my road. Thank you for mashing the hearts. I appreciate that. If you pick this up at any later point in time, please share if you care. Copy and paste. There's a lot of good stuff that we need to share with each other. There's a lot of great things happening. Anyway, I'm not into these great big sporting spectacles. I don't want to get pulled into that. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's fun. You know, pop down the pub with your friends for a couple of beers and watch the game and let off some steam. However, I think it's the people involved that win. I think it's the people playing that are the real winners. The people in the arena, and not just that. You think about the development of technology that's got us to the point where something can happen on one side of the world, and on the other side of the world, you can watch it in more detail than if you were actually there. That's quite incredible, and the fact that it happens almost instantaneously, if not instantaneously, and the fact that it's that so many people involved. I'm just thinking about like the big sporting events where you got people directing the action and you got the timing of everything and you got the cameraman and we've achieved some ridiculously amazing things as human beings. The ability to know and see what's happening almost anywhere at any point in time. We should be proud of that. We should all be proud of that. Anyway, I watched the game. I watched the game wanting England to win, which is weird being Scottish, right? Because you're not supposed to want England to win, but we're stuck on this bloody island, surrounded by the sea. The Sceptred Isle, they call it, the Sceptred Isle. Look, I spent a large part of my life, most of my life, traveling around in other places, living in other places, doing other things. I've always observed this place from afar after I escaped. Islands are like prisons sometimes. Look back through history, they turned a lot of islands into prisons. They were also safe places sometimes as well. Good places to test things, but we'll talk about that another day. So yeah, England lost. I kind of felt sorry for them. I don't know why. Maybe I was just rooting for who I thought was the underdog. I tend to do that. I tend to always root for the underdog. It's kind of crazy but then if the underdog wins, then the underdog becomes the overdog. And then what? Do you continue rooting for them, or do you change? I tend to always support the underdog. I don't know why. It's fresh blood. No, it's not that. It's. I think it's something to do with upbringing. I think it's something to do with being the underdog yourself and rooting for other people who are like you, perhaps. And supporting someone because of geography is kind of bizarre as well. So we've got these strange lines called borders, and on one side, person speaks one language, on the other side they speak another. It's just bizarre. Somebody you can see in Africa that, like, at the end of World War II, people got rulers, and people who'd probably never been there had got rulers and drew straight lines and were like, okay, you have this side and we have that side. Just bizarre behavior. I'm sure they had their reasons. Anyway, I watched the game not just to watch the game, but to observe, learn, understand, look at the skills, the tactics. It's interesting. It's interesting to break it down, and also to realize that we learn a lot from sports and physical activity. I wrote an article years ago called The 13 Principles of Elite Schools. There are things that the best schools do that the other schools don't do. And because I ran my own school, I have run my own school for 20 years, basically. It's almost 20 years. I think it's at least 15. So I've run my own school for at least 15 years, and I think I understand a little bit about schools and what they should do that they don't do. And if you look at, people wonder why their kids are failing school. Kids don't fail school. School fails kids. You understand? Kids don't fail school. School fails kids. With all the time and all the money and all the resources and all the administration and all the experts. Think about it. Anyway, one of the things that the elite schools do, you can find the article online, the 13 Principles of Elite Schools. You probably tag onto that Native Speakers Academy or the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching, and go pick up the article. It's archived. I know, because I just searched it and found it in Google's archive. Right. There's no escape. It's all out there. So I just wanted to finish with a point about the benefits of sports within society, because I'm kind of critical of sports a lot of the time. But there's a hell of a lot, if you're actually participating, you can learn from it. So I just want to read you something from the article, and hopefully you will concur, agree, or at least it'll give you something to think about. But one of the things that really good schools of life do, and don't leave it up to school. If you're a parent, you can get involved and add that into your parenting list. So sports, both individual and team events, train the mind and body to appreciate the concepts of pain, conflict, grace, power, loss, competition, intention, and of course, money. They also give us experience of command, teamwork, and influence. Play, as with experimentation, brings its own rewards. There always needs to be a little bit of space in life for play. Now, scientists get to do this. They get to experiment. That's their play. You know, leave a little bit of space for you. Leave a little bit of space for your kids. Leave a little bit of space for doing something together with them that they enjoy. Ask them. They know. They know. They know. This is Made in Moray Live. And what you can do is you can leave a question or a comment for me. We deal with anything related to business and personal development. I know that you've got questions. I know that there's things that you want to do, things that you need to do. I know. Because we're all going somewhere. We might as well help each other all out on the way. It's the journey, not the destination. That's what they say. So you can help by sharing this with other people. You can help by linking up on Facebook. You can help by checking out the other sites, Twitter, the Instagram. What else? There must be something else. Dun, dun, dun. Good evening. Would you like to join? Yeah, I know. You're going to exercise, and I'm finishing in 2 minutes. If you give me 2 minutes, I would have been done. Yeah, really, I would have been done. Chop, 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 chop. Oh my God, there's no rest for the wicked here. Multi-purpose, multi-functioning room. This podcasting, weight training, sleeping, and other things. So there we go. Thanks very much for tuning in. Thanks very much for paying attention. Time is all we have, and if you give any time to this, I appreciate that so much. There'll be more posts coming up in the future, for sure. Wherever you are, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, night. Take care.